All right, let's take a look at lesson 5 on page 507. Okay, we're going to actually combine lesson 5 and 6 today on generating patterns and finding patterns. So on page 507 it says the pattern below is made from toothpicks. The first figure uses 4 toothpicks. The second figure uses 7 toothpicks. And the third figure uses 10 toothpicks. Assume the pattern continues. So the first figure is 4, the second figure uses 7, and the third figure uses 10. So it says use toothpicks to model the fourth figure. How many toothpicks did you use? Well, if we model the fourth figure, right, there's the first one has 4, but then we add only 3 to make the second box, 3 to make the third box, and now the fourth figure we're going to add 1 more box. So altogether, we're going to have used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay. See, our pattern is going from 4 to 7 to 10 to 13. And it says use toothpicks to model the fifth figure. Draw the result below and how many toothpicks did you use. So they give us a spot to draw it. Okay, so we're actually just extending this first figure, right, to make a fifth box. And notice for that fifth box we're going to add 3 more toothpicks on, so we're going to use 16 toothpicks altogether. Okay, our pattern, noticed each time we added a new box we went up by +3. Okay, let's take a look at the next page. Actually, here. So the next page, it says complete the table to show the number of toothpicks needed if the pattern continues. So every time we add a new one, we add 3, right? So we ended up at 13 and then 16. And if our pattern continues, 16 plus 3 gets me 19. 19 plus 3 gets me 22. So what do you notice about the number of toothpicks needed for each new figure? Well, each new figure we have to add 3 toothpicks. Okay, so let's take a look at another problem. Now, if we take a look, let's look at the next page. Let's skip over to page 509, and let's take a look at a new problem. Here it says now we have figure 1 with 4 toothpicks. Figure 2, we take that middle toothpick out and just add 3 more. Okay, so figure 1 we had the 4. Figure 2 has 3, 4, 5, 6. Figure 3, we're going to add those 2 more in the middle. So we're at 8. Okay, so now if we add figure 4, we're going to keep the outsides, right? But in the middle, we're going to have 2 more on both the top and the bottom. So we're going to add 2 more toothpicks. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 all together. So figure 4 needs 10 toothpicks. Now it says, how is this different than the pattern in the activity on the first page of the lesson? Well, here we don't have any in-between toothpicks, right? We just have border toothpicks, or the outside toothpicks, right? So we just have outside toothpicks. So notice how we can make a pattern with toothpicks, right? We can continue those patterns with toothpicks if we want. But let's take a look how we can generate patterns with numbers. So let's flip to page 513. We're going to flip to lesson 6 on patterns. And it says a sequence is a list of numbers that follow a specific pattern. Each term in the list, or each number in the list, is called a term. So we have a sequence like 4, 8, 12, 16. That's a pattern that is there listed for us, right? Every number in that pattern is called a term. Okay, and if you see dots at the end of a pattern, that just means that the sequence is continuing. So our terms, notice, are separated by commas. Okay, So let's look at some patterns. Example 1 says, Mary and her friends find a 4-leaf clover during lunch. Ooh, exciting. A 4-leaf clover has 4 leaves. The table shows the number of leaves for several 4-leaf clovers. Extend the pattern to find the next 3 terms. So our pattern goes 4, 8, 12, 16. Notice an increasing pattern, a pattern that goes up. We can either add or multiply. Okay, those are the 2 ways to make a pattern increase. A decreasing pattern, a pattern going down, okay, so increasing goes up, a decreasing pattern goes down. We can solve a decreasing pattern by either subtracting or dividing. Okay, increasing, we're going to add or multiply. That makes a number bigger. Decreasing, subtract, or divide. This pattern is increasing, so we have to figure out, are we going to add or multiply? Well, to get from a 4 to an 8, we could add 4 or multiply by 2. But then that has to be used the next round. So if we add 4 to 8, we get 12, but if we would multiply 8 by 2, we would skip to the 16. So it can't be a times 2 pattern, it has to be a plus 4 pattern, like they showed us, okay? So each term in the sequence can be found by adding 4 to the previous term. So 16 plus 4 to keep it going is 20. That would be the 5th term. Then we take 20 plus 4 is 24. That would be the 6th term. 24 plus 4 would be 28, right? And that would help our boxes continue. So the next 3 terms after 16 are 20, 24, and 28. All right. Let's take a look at the next page. It says Maria and Zhang are training to run a half marathon. A half marathon is about 13 miles. Their weekly training plans are shown in the table. Use the information to write a sequence to represent each person's weekly training plan. Then compare the plans. So Maria is starting at 2 miles, and every week she adds 2 miles per week for the next 4 weeks. So she's going to start at 2, add 2 for the next week to get 4. Add 2 for the next week to get 6. Whoops, sorry. Add 2 again to get 8. Whereas Zhang is starting at 4, and he is going to add 4 miles per week for each of the next 4 weeks. So his pattern is going up by 4. So 4 plus 4 is 8. 8 plus 4 would be 12. 12 plus 4 will get 16. So it says each week Maria will run 2 more miles and Zhang will run 4 more miles than the previous week. Write the sequence with 5 terms for Maria's training plan. So she's going to go 2 plus 2 is 4, plus 2 is 6, plus 2 is 8, plus 2 is 10. The sequence for Zhang is going to be 4 plus 4 is 8, 8 plus 4 is 12, 12 plus 4 we got the 16, and we have to add 1 more 4 to get us to 20. Now if we compare their numbers, each week Zhang plans to run blank as many miles as Maria. Well, how many times more miles is he running? 2 times what is 4? 2 times 2. 4 times 2 is 8. 6 times 2 is 12. 8 times 2 is 16. And 10 times 2 is 20. So he plans to run twice as many, or 2 times as many. Okay, let's look at the next page. Let's find some of these patterns. So it says identify the pattern, then write the next 3 terms in the sequence. So we need to look here, 0, 7, 14, 21. Sometimes if it's a multiplying pattern or a dividing pattern, you might want to use your multiplication or division chart. But let's keep in mind, if the pattern goes up, we're going to either add or multiply. If the pattern goes down, we're going to either subtract or divide, right? Those are our 2 options, okay, for each. Here our pattern is going up. So we have to figure out, how do I get from a 0 to a 7 to a 14 to a 21? What is my pattern doing? Well, if I go 0 plus 7, I get 7. 7 plus 7, I get a 14. 14 plus 7, I get a 21. So it might be a plus 7 pattern. If I multiply 0 times anything, I get it 0. So it can't be a multiplying pattern because my numbers wouldn't go anywhere. So if it's a plus 7 pattern, 21 plus 7 would be my next part. And that is 28, right? Now it says the next 3 terms. So I have to do 28 plus 7 is 35. Notice these are my 7s facts that I'm figuring out. And 35 plus 7 is 42. Those are my next 3 terms. Okay? Let's take a look at number 4. We have 72, 66, 60, 54. Notice my pattern is going down, so I either need to find a subtracting or a division pattern. Well, subtracting patterns are going to decrease by a lot fewer numbers than a division. Division is going to decrease quickly. This one looks like it's going down pretty slow. So if it's a subtraction pattern, we have to figure out what are we subtracting. What's 72 minus 66? For this, we need to regroup. Okay, I can't do 2 take away 6. So what's 12 take away 6? I have 6, right? So if it's a subtract 6 pattern, does that make sense? Is 66 minus 6 60? Yes, 60 minus 6 is 54. So what's 54 minus 6? Regroup again, and I get 48. 48 minus 6 is 42. 42 minus 6, regroup, right? We can't do 2 take away 6, is going to be 36. If it's subtracting by 6, those are my 6 facts backwards, right? My 6 multiples backwards. My 7, adding 7 is like multiplying, you know, each factor to get a 7, okay? A factor or multiple of 7. Look at number 6, 2, 4, 8, 16. Ooh, it's going up, right? So it's either adding or multiplying. So 2 plus what is 4? Ooh, I could do 2 plus 2. But is 4 plus 2 8? No. So it cannot be a plus 2 pattern. So 2 times what gets me a 4? 2 times 2 gets me a 4. 4 times 2 gets me an 8. 8 times 2 gets me a 16. Ooh, what's 16 times 2? We can do the multiplication. 6 times 2 is 12. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3. So we have 32 as my next number. What's 32 times 2? 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 3 is 6. So we get 64. 64 times 2. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 6 is 12. So 128. Okay. Let's take a look here at number 5. 1397. Okay, what kind of pattern do we have? Well, it's going up, so it's either adding or multiplying. Let's try adding. 1 plus what is 3? Ooh, plus 2. But then 3 plus 2, oh, that's not 5. We should get 9. So it's not an adding pattern. So how do I get 1 times what is 3? I could multiply by 3, right? 1 times a missing number is 3. Okay, does this missing number, if I multiply 3 by that same missing number, do I get 9? Well, if I times 3, 1 times 3 is 3. 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 3, that same missing number, should be 27. Yes. Now what's 27 times 3? Let's stack our numbers and find out. 7 times 3 is 21. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 2 is 8, so I get 81. 81 times 3. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 8 is 24, so I have 243. And then 243 times 3. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 4 is 12. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7, so I get 729. okay? What I want us to do today is look at page 517. On page 517, I would like you to do 1, 2, and 4, okay? 1, 2, 4. Notice it says identify the pattern, so you have to tell me, are you adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing, and by how much? And then write the next 3 terms in the sequence, so just like we did on the previous page.